Salutations! Today I want to talk about a tool which I think is invaluable to have during your dreadlocks journey, and this tool is a dreadlocks timeline. So I want to talk about why I think that starting and maintaining a dreadlocks timeline is one of the best things that you can do for your hair and yourself, especially during those early weeks and months. Simply put, a dreadlocks timeline is a collection of pictures or videos that documents your dreadlocks progress. At its most basic, it could just be a picture of your hair before you start the dreadlocks, a picture of your dreadlocks on day 1, week 1, month 2, etc. There are no rules. You can update it as frequently or as infrequently as you like. You can put as much content or as little content into it as you want. All that is important is that it is updated at regular intervals so you can see how things have changed over time. Why do I think that a dreadlocks timeline is good? Why do I think that it is more than just a collection of pictures of dreadlocks that some people might like to look at simply because they like to look at pictures of dreadlocks? Basically, it's because I feel that it allows you to take a step back and actually see the dreadlocks progress. When you're there in person, you stand in front of the mirror and you have young, immature dreadlocks and they are not looking how you want them to look. They're still loose, they're still messy, and they were loose and messy yesterday and the day before, and you can sometimes feel like it is not changing, it is not progressing. You think maybe you've done something wrong, maybe you've done the method wrong, maybe you're just not caring for them in the right way, maybe you have the wrong hair type, hair length, maybe it's just not going to work out and you're wasting your time. And it can really feel like that. The progress can be so slow that when you're seeing your hair every single day, you can't see any changes. If you have a dreadlocks timeline, you're able to see more than just how your dreadlocks looked today and remember how it looked yesterday. You can see how your hair looked 1 month ago, 2 months ago. You can see that the dreadlocks, they look different between month 1 and month 2. They look different between month 2 and month 3. You can understand that your hair has been making changes. You're not just completely wasting your time. You can see where they've come from, you can see where you are today, you can get some idea of where they're going, and it can sort of inspire you to just get through it and not give up and feel like you were wasting your time. I think of a dreadlocks timeline in the same way as when you don't see a friend or a relative for a long period of time. So you see them one day and then a long time passes and you see them again. And the first time you saw them, they might be like a kid. And then the next time you see them, they might be like a 10-foot tall, fully grown up adult. And you're like, wow, you've grown up fast. And they're like, I don't really feel like I've grown because the progression for them has been so slow. Although I will say if they grew to 10 feet tall, they might have noticed something. I think a dreadlocks timeline works in the same way. It allows you to not see just a slow progression that doesn't really seem to get anywhere. You can see snapshots and it will be the boost that you need. Now often I think people are a bit scared off about making a timeline because they immediately think that a timeline is something that you have to share online, and I fully understand that not everyone wants to do that. I didn't want to do that. I can get that some people just straight off don't want to share pictures or videos of themselves online. I think if you introduce young, messy, loose dreadlocks, it's completely understandable that you might not want to be showing those off. There's just a sort of level of confidence that doesn't really come with immature dreadlocks. A lot of people are happy to share, and I'm going to come back to sharing later, but I don't think that sharing is the #1 reason that you should make a dreadlocks timeline. I think the #1 reason is so that you as a person can give yourself that confidence that you're not wasting your time, that your dreadlocks are progressing, that you can feel rewarded by looking back and seeing that your patience is paying off, you are gaining from giving your hair the time and space that it needs. So a dreadlocks timeline does not have to be something that you share on a forum or on Facebook or on YouTube. It can just be a stack of Polaroids that you blue tack to your bedroom wall. You're still going to be able to look back at them, look at your hair now, and you're going to get that confidence boost. If you at some point become confident enough that you want to share it, that's fine. You'll be able to do that. But I don't think that that is the most important part, at least when it comes to having young dreadlocks and just, being able to get through it. I've said in my dreadlocks regrets videos that one of my biggest regrets is not sort of taking progress shots. It's that I did not produce a timeline as time went by. Now I do have timelines on YouTube and on forums and things, and they're just kind of pictures that happened to be taken while I had young dreadlocks, that I happened to be, in those pictures. I did not take pictures of myself, I did not make videos, I wasn't comfortable, I wasn't happy, and I think that if I had a timeline, I would have been able to be a bit more happy with my position, because at the time I felt like my hair was not changing, it wasn't progressing, it just was kind of bleh, and I was gonna be like that forever. Now, my situation was slightly different in the way that I started and maintained my dreadlocks, which, if you've seen my videos, you will know that it is not a way that I would ever recommend to anyone else. but I still think that if I'd had a timeline, I would have been boosted, because there was a day when I got up and I looked in the mirror and I felt a lot more happy and comfortable with myself, and a lot more happy and comfortable with my dreadlocks, and maybe the two were connected in some way. But I feel that if I'd have had a timeline, a proper one, maybe that point would have come sooner, because I would have felt like I wasn't wasting my time. And I think there is a sort of fulfillment, a rewarding nature to being able to then look back at your timeline and go, this is where my hair has come from. This is sort of how it progressed, and this is where I am now. And you can either then use that for your own sort of enjoyment, or you can share it with the world, or your friends, whoever you want to share it with. But I think it would have been so useful to have that, because when you're going through young dreadlocks, and there's so many people who think that you're wasting your time, and often they will tell you, and people will put you down, and they will say that you're doing it wrong, and that your dreadlocks will never mature, they're always going to be loose and messy, or you need to do that, or you're doing this wrong. And a lot of people don't understand that dreadlocks are a sort of journey. It sounds cheesy to say journey, but it's true. It's not an instant thing. It takes time and patience. And when random people are telling you that it's wrong, or they just don't get that they're not mature yet, I just feel that it would be so good to have had a timeline, so I can go, look, this is where you said I was doing it wrong, this is where it is now. Look, it gets from here, it goes to here, it all works out in the end. Also, it would have meant that I could have used that timeline to inspire myself and potentially inspire others, but at least hopefully reassure others, because people would have seen, look, his hair got from here where it looks terrible, and then it got to here where it looks, not quite so terrible. It does get better. Different people are going to agree or disagree on, how much better it gets, but it does change. I can guarantee that. Right, so on to sharing. Some people, a lot of people, in fact, if you spend time on the internet, are comfortable with sharing their dreadlock progress and their dreadlocks timelines, and I think this is really, really great. I have met so many people through sharing my progress pictures, through sharing my timeline, and I've also met so many people through checking out other people's progress pictures and checking out other people's timelines. I so much prefer seeing people's whole timelines rather than just one picture of dreadlocks, because you see a picture of dreadlocks, someone who has dreadlocks, and it's fine, it's great, they can be fantastic pictures. You can see people who are happy in themselves, confident in themselves, happy and confident with their hair. But when you can see a whole dreadlocks timeline, you can see where they've come from, you can see the progression that they've made, and you can see where they are now and get some idea of where they're going on to. Dreadlocks on the internet are kind of big now, at least sort of relatively, in that I remember in the past you couldn't find so much information. Now there is a lot. There are lots of people out there posting information and sharing stuff. You're able to go out and view timelines uploaded by hundreds of people from all around the world, thousands of people who've started their dreadlocks with different methods, maintain their dreadlocks in different ways, they've got different hair types, different hair lengths. You can see that every single person, their hair has gone through a slightly different thing. So you can be sat there at home going, my hair doesn't look like this person's hair, and their hair is the same age as mine. Why are my dreadlocks doing this and not what they're doing? Am I doing something wrong? If you can check out other people's timelines, you can get to understand that some people's hair is just going to progress faster than yours. There's so many variables involved. You'll also find that other people's hair is progressing slower than yours. You get an appreciation that everyone's hair is different. And even past the sort of time period that people consider for maturity, you go, here are some dreadlocks at 12 months, they're mature now. But you can see that beyond that, they still continue to change. Dreadlocks are continuously changing. You get a real understanding for what people say is that dreadlocks are a journey and not a destination. I know it sounds cheesy to some people, but you can really see it and you begin to understand it once you've sort of spent time either creating your own timeline or exploring other people's. So that is why I think dreadlocks timelines are an excellent thing to do for your hair and yourself. And it's what I would really recommend if you're starting out your dreadlock journey. There's no sort of too late point to start. It's not like if your dreadlocks are 3 months old, or it's too late to start a timeline. I didn't start on day one. It doesn't matter. You just start a timeline and you begin documenting the progress. Then you're able to look at how they were on X date and how they've got to by Z date. You can see it for yourself. If you are looking to browse other people's timelines or looking to start your own timeline, I would highly recommend checking out the timelines section on the Dreadlocks Truth forum at dreadlockstruth.com. They have an extensive extensive selection of Dreadlocks timelines, literally hundreds and hundreds of timelines uploaded by hundreds of people, all with different methods, all people in different situations, different maintenances, hair types, different parts of the world. And I think it's a great place to start when you're looking at how different people have sort of experienced their dreadlocks, and you can upload your own timeline there, you can find other people, it's great. If you look hard enough, you will even find my timeline on dreadlocktruth.com. If you're looking for people posting their dreadlocks updates, I can also highly recommend dreadlogs.com, which is a cool dreadlocks social networking site where people will post their new dreadlock progress pictures or their new dreadlock update videos, and so you can get some sort of idea of what different people are going through. If you yourself have already started Dreadlocks timeline, whether it's a thread on dreadlocktruth.com, whether it's a playlist of videos here on YouTube, or it's in a Facebook group, feel free to share it down in the comment section below. Include a little bit of information, you know, what method you used, how old your dreadlocks are, some sort of indication as to what sort of timeline you're linking to, and I'm sure lots of other people will scroll through the comments and be interested to see how different people using different methods have got different levels of progress after different periods of time. And I'll be sure to also check out some of those links that are posted. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, useful, informative, entertaining, feel free to click the like button so I know that you liked it. If you want to see more videos from myself in the future, you can click the subscribe button. If you're looking for dreadlocks tips, help, guide, advice, you can find all my content on lazydreads.com. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Farewell!